Hi folks, and welcome to today's video, how to avoid these 7 costly mistakes during your herniated disc recovery. Now, I do make a lot of great content for those folks out there suffering with low back pain problems, such as sciatica nerve pain, herniating discs, bulging discs, lumbar stenosis, lumbar arthritis. If that's you, hit that subscribe button. You'll be notified when I upload some great content to get you guys back on the road to recovery. So, without further ado, let's get into today's video. So folks, today I want to talk about 7 costly mistakes you want to avoid if you want a successful herniated disc recovery. All right, let's jump right in. Number 1, you got to take this seriously, okay? You need to address it now. Don't think, sorry, I'll get to it next week, it'll be all right, okay? It can be a serious, painful issue. You want to make sure you address it now. There is a little bit of research in the literature that has shown that if people who do not overcome and address injury in the first, say, 6 months or so, and it becomes a lingering issue, when they do start to address it, it's a much longer rehab process to get them back to being pain-free, okay? So make sure you take it seriously and you do address it now. It's going to ensure that you will have a successful herniated disc recovery. Now, another one a lot of people think they can do is they think, I can do it on my own, all right? We've got a lot of information out there now on the internet. There's a lot of good people putting out a lot of good content. You know, you can use ChatGPT, you can ask it for workout programs, etc. Okay, people think they can do it on their own. I would advise against it, right? Even though there's lots of information out there, and I myself am putting some of that information out there for you. Enlist the help of a professional, be it your chiropractor, be it a physiotherapist, rehabilitation specialist. Get advice from your doctor on who you should be speaking to, because they'll be able to put a plan in place which will guide you progressively back to that pain-free life, okay? You try to do it on your own, you can get stuck in the whole paralysis by analysis thing. You'll be taking stuff from that guy, stuff from this guy, right? And you need to have some knowledge, or a lot of knowledge of physiology, biomechanics, periodization, how to construct plans, how the tissues operate in the body, so you can put a plan in place and leave that, guys, for the professionals, okay? Another one you might start to do is you stop moving. You've got a herniated disc, oh, that's it, boom, and you go in bed, okay, for a week to recover. At one time, that was prescribed. Today, though, maximum 2-3 days bed rest is what they advise. You want to keep moving in some form or another. Excuse me. Even if it's just walking up and down the room, if that's as much as you can do in the early stages, great. You're going to get blood flow throughout the body to that injured area. It's going to help with taking nutrients to the healing area, help with taking inflammatory materials away from the area. So don't think you should stop moving. You want to keep moving as much as you can within a pain-free zone, okay? Now, number 4, you are obsessing over those MRI results. Now, today it's very common, okay, we get the MRI, the X-ray, oh yes, Mr. Kleins, you have got a herniated disc at this level. And on the result, it will show you, and people send me the results, it'll show you where the herniation is, it will show you the state of the spine with regards to perhaps maybe some stenosis, there's a thickening of the canal, maybe some facet hypertrophy, maybe some nerve impingement. And these are a tool, okay, they're a tool. Typically, a physical assessment will tell you what is going on because it's what the patient says they have. It's the symptoms, right? So if they have it, if they say they have it, right? The MRI is a addition, it's a tool. But for you, don't obsess by what the MRI says, okay? A good practitioner, we take that information. How are you feeling, okay? They build the plan. If you can look, what about this? But could this pain be this? Or perhaps it's this, or are we addressing that? Are we addressing this? Yes, a good practitioner will address those things. One of the problems with the MRI is, it's a snapshot of your spine at that time. It doesn't tell us how long those things have been there. It doesn't tell us what the overall prognosis will be long term. I've had chats with orthopedics when they've looked at, knees and stuff, and there'll be some cartilage damage. They can't tell, we don't know at this stage whether, you've got cartilage damage, you will definitely have arthritis in the future. We've not done the studies, we just don't know, okay? So do not obsess over those MRI results because you'll just go into the spiral of catastrophization. You might get feeling helpless, depressed, whatever. You'll get anxious. Stop doing it, all right? Now, number 5 is you go back too soon because you're symptom pain-free. And this is a mistake, and I had a conversation with somebody about this because on the internet there's a lot of, again, misinformation, and it will generally say most people will experience symptomatic relief, basically pain relief, within 6 to 12 weeks, and that is true. However, it doesn't mean the injury is completely healed. And I know myself, I made this mistake myself back in the day. I squatted too early, and I got to the bottom of the squat, felt searing sciatica pain in my leg and my buttock, and I had no pain before that because I thought, oh yeah, I'm 100% healed now, and I didn't understand the injury properly. This is back when I was a lot younger, and I made it worse. I increased the size of the herniation. So even though you've got no pain, it takes a long time for those disc structures to potentially heal over, scar over, etc. So jump back in too soon, costly mistake, okay? It's got to be a worked, gradual, progressive time to get you back. And again, working with a practitioner, they will be testing you, judging, asking questions. They will know the healing times of the body, and they'll know when it's safe for you to return to your former exercise activity, okay? Now, number 6, you are constantly searching the internet, YouTube, Reddit, Quora, for solutions, okay? And it's similar to what I talked about earlier about using the internet, is there's so much information, okay? Good information as well. I mean, you've got people, like the late Charles Poliquin has a lot of good information out there. You've got the ATG guys, you've got, Craig Liebison, you've got Stuart McGill, you've got Robin McKenzie work. Okay, there's a lot of good stuff out there, all right? And a lot of people who are current, okay, like myself, for example, produce a lot of content, and you're like, well, who do I believe? This guy says this thing, this guy says that thing. Who's correct, okay? Now, there is a general understanding of how you rehabilitate low back issues, be it pre-surgery, if it's herniated disc conservative treatment, be it post-surgery, if they get microdiscectomies, etc. There is a standard protocol, okay, care protocol. And you're taking information in from different practitioners, and like myself, I use a whole lot of different modalities based on, I got a lot of feedback with the client, how they're feeling, how they're doing, and then we adjust as necessary as we go through the different stages of recovery. However, you as an individual, if you go out there looking at stuff and then you start questioning, well, what about this? And I've got this guy here. It's really, again, you get into that whole, paralysis by analysis thing. You're going to be going round and round in circles, like too much information. Okay? Because you're looking for solutions on the internet, whereas you want to trust in the process. I always say to people, look, whatever modality you choose to use, be it with your chiro, rehab specialist, physiotherapist, osteopath, whatever you choose to use, most people should start to experience relief within 2 weeks, okay? I'm not saying, oh my God, pain-free. Yeah, some people will be pain-free. It just depends on the individual. But you should start to feel relief within 2 weeks. If you're not from that modality, then perhaps it's time to look for a different practitioner to help you, okay? You want the practitioner to be flexible, adaptable, be able to use, different branches of knowledge to help that person recover, okay? So please stop, searching over the internet. You're not doing yourself any favors because you're not actually actively seeking out someone to help you. You are just searching around for solutions, hoping that you find the right one, and that takes time, of course. In that time, you could be going to a professional to get you better. It's a costly mistake you want to avoid, okay? Now, number 7, you find that person, he's the best rehab specialist in the world, right? You're working with him 3 hours a week, but you don't practice good spine hygiene the other hours of the week, all right? We have 168 hours in the week. You go to that great practitioner 3 hours of the week, leaves you 165 hours to mess things up. And a lot of people do, okay? You want to make sure that you are practicing good spine hygiene to put your spine in the best position possible for you to recover as quickly as possible. Again, a practitioner who's working with you should give you some good instructions, but it's up to you at the end of the day to follow through. Be it your seating positions, how you move, how you tie your shoelaces, how you get in and out of the car, how you position yourself in the car, avoiding situations that may put you in danger, quote. So I'm not going to go back to the gym right now, I'm going to do something else instead, okay? All these things help with creating a good spine hygiene practice, all right? So guys, that list is not set in stone. There can be many others, but that's some of my sort of top 7 things to avoid, costly mistakes to avoid if you do want a successful recovery from a herniated disc. Now, if you are struggling out there with your own problems, I do offer a free advice call. It's a 45-minute advice call. During the call, I basically go over all your issues. I have a questionnaire I put out beforehand. I then send you guys the recording of the call with the transcript. Yes, I use AI, all right? But in that, it gives you some advice. I just did 2 calls this week with a couple of guys, a couple of rugby players, gave them some pointers, advice, videos on how to create their workouts, how to work on themselves going forward. It is a free advice call. I'm here to try to help as many people as possible get back on the road to recovery. How do you book in? You'll see a calendar link down below. If you don't want to talk to me directly, you can also send me an email. That's also down in the description down below. By all means, send me an email. I do get back to everybody eventually. Sometimes it can be quite busy. It can take a week or so, but I do reply to all emails. Now, guys, you've got general questions on this, you can hit me up in the comment section as well. Don't forget to like, share, and of course, subscribe. And I'll see you next time. Have a great day.